Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. Today, I'm really excited to hear from Sheila Elwell. She's Idaho Food Bank's new corporate and community relations coordinator. I'm going to bring her on the screen right now. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, thanks for coming and being featured today.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
I got to meet you yesterday at our ambassador luncheon, and it was a delight to hear from Alan Reed with Reed's Dairy, and he kind of talked about his story. But it's amazing the relevancy of our community with the Idaho Food Bank, and it's just convenient that it's June is Dairy Month in Idaho.
Yes, it is.
But happy accidents occur, and I got to meet you yesterday. So anyway.
Well, and I appreciate Alan bringing his ice cream. That was an extra added little unexpected treat. So,
yeah, that was really cool. What a great guy and family there. Yeah. Hearing his stories. And again, these chamber check-ins are here to share our member stories. And I'm just honored and privileged to be able to feature the Idaho Food Bank, which does so much good in the communities it served. And you're relatively new in Idaho and with Idaho Food Bank. So this is even better too. Because Sheila, we were talking earlier, these broadcasts started during the beginning of the pandemic as a way to engage with our members and check in with them. And it was mostly a lot of restaurants like, hey, how you holding up? It's really tough. Everybody had to shift their sales to provide their service and product. And now it's almost 5 years later, and this is just keeping on. So let's talk about you first, Sheila. Tell me and help share with the listeners a little bit about your background and history of work that led you to Idaho and then ultimately with the food bank.
Yeah. So I am somewhat new to Idaho. I've been here a little bit over 7 months now. Previously, I was in Washington State, and I worked with the Puyallup Sumner Chamber of Commerce there. So I love my chambers. I was the director of membership engagement there, and really enjoyed that role. So was looking for a change. I've got grown kids here. My son went to Boise State in 2010 and never left. He loved it here. So looking for a new start, I started looking for some job openings and saw one in the Idaho Food Bank. And I'd had some interest in food banks because through the chamber there, we had some connections with local food banks, and I'd done some volunteering and really had a heart for that. So and looking for job applications and job openings, this one opened up and it just seemed like a good fit. So, and it's been great. The people here are wonderful. The food bank is wonderful. So it's been good.
You said Puyallup Sumner really well and very quickly. That's not easy to pronounce.
Well, I've had a lot of years of experience. I won't say how many.
No. That's awesome. We see the Idaho Food Bank all over the place, right? Yeah. And for those that maybe, there's food banks in every state across the country doing a lot of good. Tell us a little bit about the Idaho Food Bank's origin story and maybe share a little bit about its mission and vision.
Yeah, well, our mission is to help feed, educate, and advocate for Idaho's hungry through the collective partnerships and to develop efficient solutions and strengthen individuals, families, and communities. So our goal is to have a hunger-free Idaho, the ultimate goal. So what I really appreciate about the Idaho Food Bank is coming from Washington, a lot of the food banks there are their own entity and they don't work together. And so it's almost a competition and a challenge that they create for themselves rather than working together. So here at the Idaho Food Bank, we provide food for the entire state. We have over 440 food distribution partners that we work together with. So we're in all 44 counties. And so it's a huge network. And so that's kind of where that is. We started in 1984. There was a governor and his name has just gone away, but he saw a need. And so he donated the space for the first warehouse of the Boise, Idaho Food Bank. So from there, they did the Lewiston distribution center, and then after that the Pocatello one, and I think in 1998 was the one that Pocatello was developed. So we've got 3 large distribution centers throughout the state, and then a lot of food partners. So that's kind of where that came from. The current Meridian facility is our largest facility. And that we moved into here in 2020, I believe. And so it's kind of, I call it the mothership because it's huge. When I first moved up into Idaho and saw this place, like, wow, it's not just a little food bank. It's a giant food bank. So they do a lot of good. So that's kind of how we came to be. And our mission is to help the people that are fighting insecurity. So
I think you're probably thinking about Governor Batt or Andrus.
Well, John Evans. John Evans.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
And if I'm sorry, John Evans. Good job. Thank you.
You're good. You're good. Hey, as the state of Idaho grows, there's probably more food insecurities that we even know about.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about kind of the population percentage of folks that have food insecurities.
Yeah, they just Feeding America just put out a report from their Math the Meals Gap and report, and they found that 11.4% Idahoans are struggling with food insecurity, and 14.5% of that is children. So it is definitely affecting our local communities here in Idaho, and a lot of factors impact that. We like to think, there are just certain people that food insecurity affects, but it can be a car repair or unexpected medical bill or loss of job or anything. Plus your housing prices and food prices here, they've gone up quite a bit, and that also affects that food insecurity and the hunger needs. So we're trying to combat that through different programs and different ways that we're looking to help the local Idahoans that are still struggling with those. So,
well, double-digit percentages are not good.
Not at all.
I don't like to hear that, especially in the times that we live in when everything's so accessible. But like you mentioned, the economy's good and doing well.
Yes.
But like you said, the prices are up.
Everything's gone up.
We have a family of 5, and when we go to the grocery store, it's a lot. And if you decide to go out, it's even more. So
absolutely,
I get it.
Yeah. So we have several programs that we kind of have implemented to help certain specific people in the community that are having specific needs. So we've got our backpack and school pantry program, and that focuses on the children. We're in, I think it's 37 different schools. So we distributed 65,000 backpacks last year. And so we get the backpacks in the school, and if a teacher sees a child that might be struggling with food insecurity, she'll discreetly put that backpack inside of his backpack or her backpack, and then they can take it home and have that food for the weekend. We were finding that those kids were trying to feed their families with that backpack or their siblings. So to meet that need, we put pantries inside the schools so that the food be easily accessible to the families. So they can discreetly go in, get their food, get back in their car, pick their kids up, and then have the food that they need. So that's one of the programs. We have a mobile pantry program where we focus on those communities that are rural areas that cannot get to a brick and mortar food pantry. So we take the food to them, which has been a huge success. Another thing we do is the senior community. We've got senior boxes. I think I may be wrong, I think it's 2,200 boxes distributed each month to seniors that are in need. So it's low-income seniors that are above the age of 60 qualify for that. So those are some of the different programs we have. We feed about 213,000 people every month. So a lot of mouths that we have fed and helped in families. So it's a lot. We distributed 28.6 million pounds of food last year. So our distribution centers are very busy. So, and to put it in perspective, that's 23.8 million meals that was distributed last year. So we have been busy. Another focus that we're really trying to think about is nutrition, like providing healthy and nutritious food. We provide about 88% of the food that we distribute is healthy and considered nutritious. And that's based on the USDA's My Plate recommendations. So we try to get the dairy, the protein, and then the fruits and vegetables out to our food banks so they can be distributed to our local neighbors. So that's super important to us. And we have, I think, 4 nutritionists on staff because that's really something that we want to take care of our local Idahoans and give them healthy food. So, and as you said, June is Dairy Month. And so a lot of the food banks across the country struggle with getting dairy but luckily we've got some generous dairy providers that give us dairy, so it's not been a problem for us, but we really appreciate getting that out to the food banks as well. We distributed 15% of the food we distributed last year was dairy, so it's kind of a important part of our distribution. And we always like to thank our dairy partners, Dairy West, Dairy Gold, and Chobani, because they are huge contributors to the Idaho Food Bank. So thank you. And then lastly, the biggest thing is for every $5 that we are donated, we are able to provide food for 15 meals. Oh, wow. So it goes a long ways because we've got great purchasing power. So every $5 counts.
Absolutely. Wow. I had no idea the amount of millions of pounds.
It's a lot.
Hundreds of thousands of people that you fed last year.
And that's just Idaho.
Yeah. Okay. We're familiar with Idaho Food Bank, right? You've done a great job, and we've relied on your services as a community. For those that don't know, tell us a little bit about some of the cornerstone events that the Idaho Food Bank offers, and to get people engaged and to get folks involved. And then what are some of the new things coming up?
Yeah. So for over 20 years, the Idaho Food Bank has put on their annual gala called a Chef's Affair. And they are going to be doing that again this year. They're changing the name to a seat at the table. So you'll start seeing that out there. And another change is they're going to be doing 3 different locations this year. So there will be a seat at the table event in Boise, and then there'll be one in Lewiston, and then also one in East Idaho. So that's a little different this year. So that's a great event to attend, to get involved with, to sponsor. That's where I come in. We appreciate those sponsorships. So this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. And so getting support for this is huge. We also do an empty bowls every year. We just did a summer empty bowls, trying that out because we hadn't done that pre-COVID. So an in-person event. And we did it at the village, and it was fun. We got a lot of support. A lot of people enjoy touching the bowls, picking the bowls up, and then supporting the chamber or the Idaho Food Bank through that. So we also do a Million Meals in March campaign every March. And what that is different corporations will challenge each other in a competition, and they get points for raising food, raising funds, and then volunteering and volunteer hours. So if you've got a company that you would like to participate in March, please reach out. We could get you all set up for that. It ends up being a lot of fun. They get a trophy at the end. We have a little award ceremony, and the kudos that goes along with that. So, and then this year we are partnering with the Twilight Criterium Bike Race. I'm new to this. I'm excited to be a part of it. It sounds super cool.
Way cool.
And so donations there will be made to the Idaho Food Bank as well, because we're one of their beneficiaries. So those are just kind of a few of the events that are coming up. So, that's great. Lala, thank you for volunteering. So speaking of volunteering, there is a great opportunity always down in 3 of our facilities to volunteer. We love our volunteers. We had, I think, the most recent number was over 65,000 hours of volunteerism last year. So that's huge. Incredible. And we would have to hire like 30 full-time employees to do all the work that you guys do. So thank you to our volunteers out there. We really appreciate you.
Wow. I just learned a lot. I know about Chef's Affair, but I didn't relate it to Idaho Food Bank. So thank you for sharing that with me. The Million Miles of March.
Million Meals.
The Million Meals of March. Yeah.
You're getting confused with the bike race, I think.
Okay, maybe. Yeah. The Tour de France is on my head right now. Go Mateo. Anyway, how can the chamber, businesses, and the public, for that matter, get involved? How can they support the food bank?
Well, the best way is to go on our website, because on our website, it's clearly laid out. There's a button that says, if you need help, if you need food, there's a button that says get help. And they can click on that button, and it brings up all the Idaho Food Bank pantries. And then they can find the one that's closest to them. And so that's an easy click of a button. If you want to get involved, there's actually a button that says get involved. And so when you click that button, it'll take you to our volunteerism. You could donate online. If you want to do a fundraising page, we can set that up for you or your company. And then if you want to do a food drive, there's a button for that too. So any way that you want to get involved, that's probably the best place to start at the idahofoodbank.org.
I'm just looking at that. And when I clicked on the get help and I just said locate food, there's hundreds.
Well, we have 440 partners currently. Wow. So, and we add more all the time. So
that is just incredible. That is incredible. Okay. We talked about the mission and vision, some of its recognizable events, what's coming up. Is there anything else that you'd like to touch on while we have you today?
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate all that have donated this past year. The companies, the individuals, we could not do it without you. And we appreciate every single donation. We get small checks, large checks. Every single penny counts, and it does so good. So thank you. Just a big thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sheila, we're glad to have you on the Idaho Food Bank team. Thanks for coming over the border here. And
I'm staying. I love it here.
Yeah. Hey, for those that are listening, remember to like and share right from the YouTube channel here. And stay tuned for next week as we feature Repop Gifts, a local retail store downtown Boise. They have some cool eclectic stuff. And then also on Friday, we get to feature the City of Boise's Arts and History Department. So stay tuned for that. Sheila, thanks for your investment with the Chamber. Congratulations on your new role here with the Food Bank. And have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Say hi to the team from us.
I will.